B&E Corporation. Go to Warriors.com/free throws to learn more. That was a 5-line sentence. How about that? 121-118 Warriors lose to the Boston Celtics. Tim Roy along with Jim Barnett. Golden State controlled this game. They led from Stephen Curry's buzzer beater at halftime all the way until 18.6 to go in regulation. Jaylen Brown made a three, and it was tied at 106. That's where we go to overtime. Golden State trailed the entire overtime. Boston almost gave them a gift-wrap chance to force a second overtime, but it did not happen. And the Warriors actually had a three-quarter court heave to tie the game and send it to a second overtime in a game that both teams probably felt they should have put this one away and won in a much more comfortable manner. Good matchup between two teams that fought each other in the finals last June. A lot of guys with great stories. Let's look at some of the numbers. Warriors outshot Boston 40-39.8. Outscored them from the three-point line. They were only outscored by 2 at the free throw line, but they were out-rebounded by 16. And when Boston came back in this game, that's when they started to take control of the glass. And the Warriors, who are a smaller team, come away with a 63-47 deficit there. Boston had 17 turnovers, turned into 24 points for the Warriors. And, Jim, you think about this. Other than the rebounding, they outshot Boston.
Yep.
Close to the free throw line. They did get out-rebounded. Turnovers were almost dead even. They scored 7 more points off turnovers than the Celtics, but yet they lose by 3. It was a tight game, and these are two teams that know how to play one another. You find that out when you play another team in a playoff series, and a disappointing loss tonight for Golden State.
Yeah, and you look at the final score, 121-118. The difference in these games is a shot that doesn't go in for you, a foul that you make, a turnover that you commit, or a turnover that you force. Excellent game, very competitive. It felt like a playoff game. The Warriors, I thought, were very, very good in the first half. They were really good defense all along, and they shot so well from three-point range in the first quarter. They had the lead there. They won the first quarter. They won the second quarter. It was a one-point game at halftime. The third quarter, the Warriors that was their best quarter. I thought they were terrific in that third quarter, and they shot, I think, 50%, 55%. Scored 34 points in that quarter. Only 2 turnovers. Both teams had 2 turnovers. Then they got to the free throw line. They really dominated in the third quarter, and so going into the fourth quarter, I thought, okay, they've got a really good chance to win here because they had a 7-point lead to start the fourth quarter, but they did not score well at all in the fourth quarter, did not play well, turned the ball over, and gave the chances back to Boston, and they capitalized and then end up at the end of the game, it was tied 106 all.
Marcus Smart played a good game. He was 7 of 16. He had 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 18 points. Jason Tatum, I want to see something about him because we were looking at his shooting numbers all night, but I got to give him credit, Jim. He played a whale of a game on the floor. 19 rebounds, new career high. He had 6 assists. He did have 7 turnovers. Now the ball's in his hands a lot, and the Warriors seemed to defend him pretty well. I mean, he scored 34, but he had to take 27 shots to get the 34.
Yeah.
But
he plays.
But tell me, here's the scary thing about Jason Tatum. He's only 24.
Yeah, I know it. I saw.
He's not even 25 yet.
Yeah, I'm looking at.
That's scary.
Their roster, because it's his 6th year and he's only 24.
Because what happens when you get into we see players get into the prime of their careers? They become more efficient. They learn all the shortcuts.
Right.
The turnovers usually go down. The shooting percentages go up. They get their points easily. They know how to they know how to play, and they know the league better. They know everything about it, and so they know he's going to get better because he's going to learn how to attack the defense. Say the Warriors play him and other teams play him, so that he can score and be more efficient for his team off those.
I always felt when I got to be 28 that that's what that's about. I was about as good as I was going to get, and that's 6 years out of college because you come in when you're 22. Well, when he's 28 years old, he'll be in his 10th year in the NBA when he's 28. and maybe the best is yet to come for him. But I'm not going to worry about that later on.
By the way, look at his minutes. He played 48 minutes and 7 seconds. He played the final 39 minutes of the game.
Yep. Yeah. Well, they needed him, and he made a difference for him.
It's crazy. But anyway, so you know, I think Boston has a team that is, you know, they have the same team that they had last year. They're deep. They play tough. They've got Robert Williams, who really I think is a big game changer for him. I don't think they're the same team when he's hurt, because he is that shot blocker. He can offensive rebound. He gives him a much more physical presence inside.
Correct.
And he's a game changer for him. And the other thing that they have that, you know, is that they have a chip on their shoulder. You know, they didn't like it when the Warriors celebrated here at TD Garden last year. Yeah. Al Horford said they heard everything. And so they have that goal in mind, if you will.
No question about that. And they're competitive. And tonight showed that they were really, really good in the overtime. You know, in that overtime, and about halfway through it, 2:23 to go. It was a 2-point game. 1-point game. The Warriors were down 112-111. But from there on, over the next 2 minutes, it was a 9-2 run, and the Warriors just fell apart, turned the ball over, didn't get good shots, couldn't get the ball in the basket, and then also couldn't stop the Celtics and couldn't keep them off the line. You know, the Celtics won the game. They deserved to win. They were better in the overtime period.
Okay. Well, let's flip it now. Let's talk about the Warriors. What did you like out of this game? What can they build upon on this game?
I thought their defense continued from that fourth quarter in Washington. Their defense was superb tonight. Even in the full game and losing the game, the Celtics still shot under 40%.
Right.
And much of the time in this game, they were around 37%. Even into the fourth quarter, they were shooting 36.5%. I thought their defense was really good. They were after it. You know, they're not going to out rebound this team, but they were competitive in that degree, and they were managed, because of their 3-point shooting. It managed to wipe out the big advantage of points in the paint. I mean, the Celtics clearly throughout the game had about 20 more points in the paint than the Warriors did. And it's tough to beat a team like that unless you're shooting from 3-point range. And the Warriors did a good job of that, and didn't do as good job as in overtime. But, you know, they played well enough to win in the regulation, but they just didn't win.
You know, I think, again, if they apply this type of effort to this to the rest of their road schedule, they'll be fine on the road. You know, I mean, and not even the fact that they had attention to detail for most of the night. Couple of silly turnovers to start the fourth, set the tone. But I think, you know, they can look at this game and build upon it. I don't know if it's going to translate tomorrow, because I think I'm very curious to hear what Steve Kerr has to say in his post-game press conference. I know that we'll hear that on our flagship station coming up a little bit later on, and to see what his strategy is for tomorrow night in Cleveland, because that's going to be tough. That's part of the fact that the Warriors lead the league in back-to-backs this year. So
yeah, I thought the Warriors, the defense, and they did the defense on Tatum and Brown, the two big scorers. And Brown got 31 against him earlier this year at Chase Center. Brown did play much better late in that fourth quarter and into the overtime.
All right, JB, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's you never know about this league.
No,
you get surprises all the time.
You get surprised all the time, and you know, we didn't know which way this game was going to go tonight because of the fact that, you know, the Warriors have already been on the road for a while. It's one of their longest road trips of the season, and you know, I was really pleasantly surprised with their effort. Again, just their execution in the fourth quarter. That's stuff that they can clean up.
Yeah.
They can clean that up and get better as the year goes on. But they've put themselves in a position the second half of the season. They're going to have to play well to get out of that play-in bracket. And again, the West is so wide open. You know, you get on a 5-game winning streak, you're going to vault to the top of the standings.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy.
Who would have ever thought that Sacramento would be leading the Pacific Division?
That's unbelievable. And credit to Mike Brown and the Sacramento Kings for doing that. And we'll get to see them one more time this year. JB, thank you so much for your work tonight. Nice job. And we will see you on the plane ride to Cleveland.
Yes, sir, Tim.
And it's going to be snowing there, I think, when we get there. So, all right. That's Jim Barnett. I'm Tim Roy. Let's get to our Kaiser Permanente scoreboard. We start off with the game overseas, Chicago and Detroit.
DeRozan against Stewart on a switch. Jump pass to Covey. Derek Jones punches it down with a two-handed slam. Oh, my goodness.
Talk about two-hand slams. You all right?
Yeah.
Mr. 2000, Chuck Swirsky with Bill Wennington, and the Chicago Bulls get the win. It was, I believe, a Detroit home game. Chicago winning 126-108, as their record is now 21-24. Detroit goes to 12-36. In Minnesota, Timberwolves eke out a win, outscoring the Raptors 27-17 in the fourth quarter. 128-126 the final. Timberwolves are now 23-24. Raptors 20-26. In Phoenix, Suns on top of Brooklyn 30-25. 73 seconds left in the first quarter there. Philadelphia, it leads Portland in the first 20-11, and they're the only two other games being played tonight. Warriors losing overtime in here in Boston, 121-118 for Jim Barnett and our entire crew. I'm Tim Roy saying good night from Boston. R.C. Davis will clean up the rest of the State Farm postgame show coming your way on the 95.7 The Game Warriors Radio Network, presented by United Airlines.